Okay, hello everyone. If you don't know our channel, we make videos about battle reports, and we will make videos because this is the first one about battle reports and painting miniatures, and also reviewing some new units. Most for Star Wars Legion. Reviewing is probably going to be only for Star Wars Legion. Also, the painting and battle reports could be for other games, but I think it's going to be only Star Wars Legion, or at least almost only. So we are going to make a series of video reviewing every single new, and not new in fact, every single Mandalorian unit that recently arrived for Star Wars Legion. And today we're going to start with the leaders of the Children of the Watch. And before the leaders, the special bonus on the Children of the Watch. So let's get started. So special bonus, you can see it on the screen. Your army may include a number of Mandalorian Initiate units, but must still follow these Battle Forces requirements. When a Mandalorian Initiate unit equips a unique personal upgrade, reduce the cost of that upgrade by 5 points. So is it good? I don't think so. Because when you add unique upgrades, they're quite powerful and quite valuable. They cost quite a lot of points, and you don't really want to kind of waste them. In fact, on the Initiate, so not really interesting. And then about the fact that you can put any member of Initiate, it's still useless, I think. So yeah, honestly, quite useless. I think this army is more an army that you want to play mixed with other clans rather than as a unique only Children of the Watch army, because the clan bonuses are really quite bad, but their leaders and units are pretty interesting. Starting with the armor. I played each of them once, at least once, if you want to know, once each of them. So I know a few things about them. So starting with the armor, 6 health is really nice. Red, save, surging to block, no surging to hit, courage value of 3, speed 2. Over here, it's quite interesting because the armor has 6 health. Most Mandalorian units will only have 5 health. So she's pretty hard to kill, has good courage value, and that is great because Mandalorians have a lot of courage too. But not a lot of commanders that have a courage value of 3. I think there is the armor, there is Bo-Katan, and I think it's all. And there is the leaders with War Party Leader, and we'll talk about all of them later in other videos, of course. So, she isn't surging. It's okay. It can be annoying on some rolls, but it's okay. Speed 2 is okay. Unfortunately, she's only melee unit, so obviously having speed 3 would have been great, but speed 2 is okay. Jump 2 is really nice because since she already doesn't have speed 3, she at least needed the jump that will allow her to pass above building, because jump is an action, so it's basically like moving, but you can ignore terrain at height 2 or less. Aid and reliable 1. So aid means it's aid Children of the Watch. So when she gets a token, any token, not any token, sorry, aim third, she can take a suppression and she will give that token to a nearby Children of the Watch unit within range 2. Great. Can be interesting because sometimes if she goes out in the open, you have like a little bit of a lack of terrain maybe in the middle of the area, and she can't really cross, so she might give a bunch of tokens. And then reliable 1 is great with aid, because even if you want to go into melee and hit people, then you will still use your aid because you can take 1 suppression, you have courage of 3, you're going to be mostly melee, it's okay. Pretty hard to take out as well with backup and stuff, so maybe not a unit your opponent will focus on. So suppressions, dealing with suppressions is going to be okay with her. So you can take one, and you're going to give a surge to a unit within range 2. And this is really nice because you have a lot of surging to hit or to crit, but you have only you don't have a lot of surging to block, especially within the Children's Watch army clan, because they don't have any special forces. So it's really good. You're going to buff your defense, buff your saves, and it's really interesting. This is the way you move on or recover 2. Once again, pretty interesting. Our recover 2 makes it even easier to deal with suppressions on your allied unit, and move 1 allows you to take the table, to just take position on the table a little more efficiently. I think giving her an order, except maybe on the first one, is going to be a good thing always if you can, because she will just give to another allied unit, either recovers to get back their impact grenades, either move, either removing suppression. So yeah, I think that is very interesting. So just this is the way I must explain it. When you get an order, you're going to give to an allied Children of the Watch unit within range 2. You're going to give to that unit a move at speed 1, like one move at speed 1, or a recover 2. Oh, it's not a move 1, sorry. It's a move, just a move. Like they can make a move with their speed, and or right now it's or they can make a recover action. So really interesting. Good melee weapon as well. 3 red, 3 black, 3 blacks, critical 1 impact, 2 PS1. Pretty interesting. Really good. Like you don't have a lot of impact, you don't have a lot of critical, so it can allow you to deal with kind of small armored vehicles like ATRTs, crab droids, or dwarf spider droids, and to deal with those guys a little easier. It's going to make it easier to deal with those vehicles, those types of vehicles. By itself it's pretty good in melee. I think among upgrades you want tenacity, perhaps improvised orders, and then I don't think you need the shields, but there are a bunch of things you could take. You could take the overcharged blaster packs. It's always better. The mages, I think it's better to keep them for other units, though. So I think Ripcord Launcher could be interesting, but most of the time, if you want to block an enemy unit, you're just going to go in melee with that unit, and burst of speed kind of cancels its efficiency. So it could be good to suppress your opponent, or to simply immobilize your opponent. Here you have the card, but I don't think it's that interesting. So honestly, you give her tenacity, maybe improvised orders, because she has lots of recovers, and a command card that gives her recover. And it's already good. She's going to go melee, she's going to deal plenty of damages, she's going to be kind of hard to kill and protect the rest of your army from lightsaber users, and then she's going to pass a bunch of surges. However, the bad thing about her is her being quite big, lack of speed, so maybe giving her infiltrate would be interesting, I don't know. So yeah, she's kind of slow. So that's unfortunate, but she isn't bad. But she's a little slow, so if you can buff her speed a little, do whatever you want to get her a little faster on the battlefield, it can be nice. It's not really necessary, like you don't have to spend 8 points to give her a scoot, but it's separately interesting. It could be interesting, and she's going to be pretty useless if you take a battle card. That is something you must be very careful with. If you take a battle card that doesn't force your opponent to come near you, like if you don't have points in the middle, if you have points on each side, then your opponent is just going to spam you with shooting, and she's going to die or take lots of damages before she gets into melee, and if she doesn't move, she's going to be useless compared to her points, obviously. So you must be careful about that. Don't let, and it's something that you should do for the entire Mandalorian army. Avoid using command cards that allow your opponent not to move towards you. So if you have some sort of mirror POIs, you need to have the same line of POIs that separates you and that says that will force your opponent to come near you. And that is very important, otherwise lots of mandalorians will be kinda useless or not very great. Not really enough. Now we're going to go with her command cards. 2 command cards, but there is a clan command card, and we'll talk about it just afterwards. First command card, it's interesting. Sometimes I think it can be annoying, and sometimes it might be annoying because it's 2 pips, and it's really to buff the armor's attack. So maybe it won't be great, but there are other 1 pips in the game, including we are mandalorians. We'll talk about this upgrade when we'll talk about the customizable leaders. His command card, when we'll talk about the customizable leaders. So, what is the card going to do? First of all, 2 orders, really nice, because it's rare. And it's an order to the armor, obviously, pretty interesting, because you can give you recovers, you can give a move, and then to another unit. So either you could use it to give an order to unit, make it move a little further, and get a very powerful armor during his turn. Either you can just use it to trigger 2 different this is the wave, and still have a pretty strong and efficient armor this game. So this round, what is it going to make? At the end of her first activation, she can take a round, and she will be able to activate once more with once your action. And that is great, because when you're already engaged and very close, you can really clean an entire point like this. You have maybe a low health unit, you're going to get, I don't know, you're going to move, maybe aim charge, or just aim punch, and then you're going to get like 4 or 5 hits, if you have tenacity or not, and then you're going to use your aim, you're going to get like 5-6 hits with Pierce 1, and you can really clean a low health unit, like with 3-4 health remaining, if it has red saves, or if it doesn't, a unit with a lot more health you could clean pretty easily, and then you're going to be able to move again and attack again. Or if you're dueling a Jedi or a melee opponent, then you can hit it twice. For example, against the Riot Squad, it can be pretty useful because they have red saves surging to blood, but you can attack twice with just 1 each time. So really interesting. Second one is also quite interesting. We shape ourselves. So you're going to be able to divulge it, and I think the divulge is really great, and it could be a reason to take this command card by itself. Like, you could take the command card just to get the divulge, because it's 3 orders, it's going to be triggering some this is away stuff, and it's going to be pretty interesting. So divulges, you can choose one of the following effects. Either you give 2 allied Children on the Watch units cash aim, or you give 2 allied Children on the Watch units cash dodge. Each one is level 1, obviously. Really interesting. It can be either a good way to max out your deployment, or kinda save the health on some important units, for example token carry units, or you can simply use it to gain some aims for long shot, for duelist, for some lethal. It can be helpful for lots of things, and it's going to be great. I think maybe you want any level more, but both are great. And then when the unit position order with this card, it may make a recover action, and means if you give an order to the armor, first of all, if you took improvised order, she's going to get it back. Then you could get 5 recovers in total. So if you are having trouble with suppressions, you give an order to her, you choose this is where I recover to, and you get 5 recovers, and you remove all the annoying suppressions. Could be very useful, could be needed, and otherwise it can be useful. You choose the this is the way move one, and you just give an order to whoever need their to every unit that either need to remove suppressions or need to get their impact, not impact, sorry, but their micro grenade launchers back. So they have a unique command card, Out of the Shadow. So operative, Children of the Watch, or children operative or commander, logical. 2 Children of the Watch units, and this round, each time in the light, Children of the Watch unit makes an attack against a unit that has a face-up order token. After the attack is resolved, that unit's controlling player shuffles that unit's order token into the order pool, then the defending unit gains 1 suppression token, and that can be interesting, because there are a bunch of abilities. First of all, there are a bunch of abilities that allow you that give bonuses if a unit has an order, so you get rid of those bonuses, and then it can allow you to give extra suppressions, and then it's a way better version of push, because you have an incredible diverge. You're going to choose 2 allied Children of the Watch units, and both will have infiltrate, and that is really great. You can get infiltrate armor, infiltrate dingerine to get early pressure over your opponent. Since the armor is a little slow, infiltrate armor can be really interesting. And the second reason why you could want to do that is infiltrate just puts a lot of pressure. It allows your unit to get on the board and on advanced position a lot faster, because you have range 3, mostly range 2, a bunch of range 2 units. So really interesting. Really interesting. Now moving on to Paz Vizsla. A little weird. I played him once. He didn't do much, but I think he can be good. He isn't bad, but he's really weird to play. So 5 health, red says surging to block, he surges to hit, speed 2, with jump 2, so it's okay in terms of speed. You can replace commanders with Paz Vizsla if you want to get like Dinjarin and the armor as unique upgrades, and if you want to play only Children of the Watch. I am not sure it's really great, but why not? The problem is you don't have the armor's great value, and you don't have all her great bonuses, so maybe not that interesting. Impervious, obviously, I forgot to say the armor had Impervious. She has Impervious and Impervious. Basically all Mandalorians have Impervious, and it's great because Impervious means that they reduce the pierce value of when they're attacked by 1. Great. Simply because they ignore all the small pieces, so from me for 1, from the shotgun, from General Grievous, from a Jedi that aren't great, but are still a little good, but not great. You ignore all those pieces. The armor has it, Paz Vizsla has it, the Injarin has it, and almost most of the Mandalorian units have it, and it's really great. Steady is great because he moves only at speed 2, but thanks to Steady you can double move speed 2 with range 3 each turn and shoot, so that's okay. In melee he has 2 red, 2 white, Pierce 1, so he can defend himself in melee, which is good. And then at range he has his main weapon, a red, 2 blacks and 3 whites, and I think most of the time it's going to be like 3 hits on average. Overwhelm is quite interesting because when you have a name, if you spend the name, you get suppressive. He has this in 2 as well, so really interesting. Whenever you're going to give him an order, you get really good aims on the board. Now a bunch of things that are less interesting. First of all, this is the way aim 2 is not going to be giving aims to himself, which he would need those aims because he doesn't roll great dices, and this suppressive is kind of the only way you're going to get him very interesting. But this is the way aim 2 is still really interesting. A little hard to play, I think. Paz Vizsla is really hard to play. He could probably be better within a unit of warriors or fire support Mandalorians. I think he would be much better, but he's good. He's just not that good. A little expensive, I think, for what he does on the battlefield, but he has a very funny command card that I never could play. And I just realized I forgot something with Out of the Shadows. It is if you give infiltrate to a unit of warriors, it's thanks to the detachment keyword, and we will talk about warriors and their fire support detachment in another video that you will be able to check out. So thanks to the detachment keyword, if you give infiltrate to a unit of warriors, then the corresponding detachment fire support unit will also get infiltrate. Really great. It's really, really great. So, now, his command card. Go, there are too many. So he gives an order to himself, which is always good because this allows him to channel 2 aims. That can only be selected if Paz Vizsla is within range 2 of 2 or more enemy units. Do it when he's like in range of 4 or 5, but that he's not within range of being charged, because otherwise he's gonna get useless. I think the best thing would be if nobody can really get into melee with him. It can be funny, and I unfortunately never got to play this card because it's a little weird. So, but I think maybe on a breakthrough on turn 2 you just go with this card and then just spam on the battlefield, maybe, or maybe on turn 3. But I think maybe on turn 2, if you some nice keywords, maybe you can do get a little bit of value. And I would advise you to play, if you're going to play this command card, maybe you should take Overwatch as an upgrade, because it increases his standby range by 1, so from 2 to 3. So he gains infinite courage, which means he can get suppressions, which means you can get rid of his standby tokens, except if you get him, obviously. He gets standby, he gets stationary, so he can move, and he gains versatile on his weapons, so he can shoot with his weapon while being engaged. And when he spends a standby, he can take a 1 to get the standby back. Unfortunately, he's 5 health, and he's going to die quite quickly if he starts doing it. That you can max him out, with maybe dodges or shields. I think it could be interesting, but yeah, I'm not really sure. If you get unlucky, he just dies before doing anything. It would be bad, but I think it can be fun. I think I'm going to try to use this one of those days and just try to get breakthrough on turn 2. You just use this command card and try to get as much value as you can with it. So maybe it could be interesting. Maybe. I'm not really sure. So this is all about Paz Vizsla. Now, a more well-known character, Din Djarin the Mandalorian. So he's going to be a mercenary. I'm going to not talk about it because we're talking about the Mandalorian version. 5 health, courage of 3, surges to crit, surges to block with red saves, and speed 2. I think really interesting. I think pretty good. He has pretty good damages. Surging to is obviously great. Hard to kill, obviously. Arsenal 2 is great because it means he can use 2 weapons in melee. We'll talk about his weapons in a few minutes. Bounty is great because it can be free victory points, so if you don't know, Arsenal is you can use multiple weapons, 2 weapons with Arsenal 2. And Bounty is, well, you can read it, but basically, if you play well and get maybe a little lucky, you can get a free victory point, which is always great. I've already spoken about Impervious, and it's obviously great once again. Independent aim and dodge 1, aim 1 and dodge 1 is very interesting because it means you can play him without like giving him too many orders, and he will still be pretty good. And tactical 1, lots of aims that he can get. Unfortunately, no charge, no relentless. That is pretty bad because he has a little bit of lack of like moving, but his speed 2 he can get all the way to speed 3, and he has command cards that allow him to get relentless, which means you could speed 3, and get like 2 aims, and it's already really good with the tactical. So then, continuing with his weapons. 2 reds and a black at range 2 isn't great. Yes, but first of all, he can take a flamethrower. Every Mandalorian can take a flamethrower, and that means he could show maybe either like if he's attacking a 5 miniature unit, he can roll like 7 red dices and a black, which is already great. Long shot only for 1, and since he already has independent A1 and dot 1 and tactical 1, he can really trigger those a lot. So long shot is he can spend a name instead of rerolling, he gets from range 2 to range 3, and lethal is he can spend a name instead of rerolling, he gets Pierce 1. So he can maybe, if he already has name and dart from independent, he moves once, he gets his tactical, he has 2 aims, and then he can lethal long shot, his blaster or lethal and reroll with maybe the flamethrower or something like this. So obviously great, and then he has really good upgrades. So I've already spoken about flame projector, that is very interesting. We'll talk about all the generic Mandalorian upgrades in another video. But what is one of the most interesting thing, I think you should take this and you should take the jetpack obviously, because he gets speed 3 and he gets jump 2, moving very very quickly, very straddling on the board, very scary. And then weapons is incredible because you can take Beskar Spear. Beskar Spear is not great, but when you can take Darksaber, I would suggest you to take it. It's interesting whenever you can take Dark, because it's 2 red and a black, which means with your arsenal into melee it means 2 reds and 3 black dice, which isn't bad, although it isn't great, but duelist, which means if you spend a name you get Pierce 1, so you can spend a name for lethal and get Pierce 2, pretty strong. And then you can also use the flamethrower in melee, so as I said earlier, if you have 5 miniatures in enemies, you get 7 red dices and a black, you get a reroll with the aim, you can get like 6 or 7 Pierce 1, which is really nice. And battle rifle is pretty useless, very weird, because you have a very weird action. You're basically giving an auto wound, almost sure, and another suppression, and you make a speed 1 move. But it's 2 actions, so really weird. And then into melee, suppressive is nice, and 3 black dice is not great though. But with knife, it's 5 black dice. You can get Pierce 1, which is really good, and immobilize 2. But overall, compared to Spear or the Darksaber, we'll talk about it right after. It isn't good enough, I think. Darksaber is great though, because it's less expensive than the Beskar Spear, which by the way isn't normal. I think the Unbound Rifle should be like 5 points, and the Beskar Spear 7 or 8, and the Darksaber 10. On the Darksaber 15, the Beskar Spear 10, and the Unbound Rifle 5 to 7. Anyway, Immune Pierce, really great because that way you can dual Jedi's that have Pierce 2, Pierce 3 that would still pierce you even with Impervious, and you get Impact 1, Pierce 1. Impact 1 is a little disappointing, but Pierce 1 is really interesting. Pierce 1 is really interesting because it's 5 black dice, can get to 7 black dice, and then you have Tactical, you have Independent, and then you can get Pierce 2 if you trigger the lethal, so lots of ways to get like 6 maybe hits Pierce 2, which is basically a Jedi roll, a good Jedi roll. So yeah, really interesting. And finally you have Grogu, which is pretty interesting as well. 17 points could be a little expensive, but and he has hunting, which kinda is like whenever there is somebody with a bounty on the map, if there is somebody with bounty, he gains an extra bounty token. Oh, not that bad because there aren't that many bounty on the game. Latent power and small. Small means you can put him wherever you want. He's not going to count as cover stuff, nor as line of sight. And latent power is quite fun because you can take a suppression. You have crash value of 3. You're mostly going to be melee. Most of the time it can be used, and you roll a red different dice. And if you get a surge, you choose an enemy unit within range 1, 2 suppression, 2 immobilized token. Great, because it's just like it's like throwing it the repel launcher, it's mobilizing, so maybe the unit won't be able to get on the point on the POI, and it's lots of suppressions, maybe it will panic, so can be interesting, or as well for bring them to hit. And to immobilize, on Blink, you can heal one or poison token from a non-droid trooper unit within the one. Great. It's a heal, it's a free heal that can be used on Dinjarin. It's a 6 health for Dinjarin. So I think it's pretty interesting. 17 points, but it's plus 1 health. 6 health is really good. The ability to potentially heal or suppress or immobilize is really fun. And Grogu also adds the hand thing command card, so it's not one that is going to give order and all can be selected, and it's when 9 units within range around the line of sight of Grogu is attacked. It can be yourself of the unit with Grogu, so Dinjarin is declared as defender against a ranged attack, so basically if it's attacked you can discard this card from your command hand, and if you do that, the defending unit will gain 2 dodges and will gain deflect until the end of the attack. So really interesting, because it can really make you tank. But I think for 2 pip, when we have Out of the Shadows, Buff Phantom Prey, I like those odds, Aerial Assault, I don't think it's interesting enough, unfortunately. But maybe you will get to use it someday. Maybe. Dinjarin's command cards, the last thing, and then we'll go over upgrades into meta. So, Dinjarin, with his command card, this is the way, he gains a dodge and relentless is strong. And so first of all, the dodge is really good because it kinda replaces the independent and then gain relentless, which means you can double speed remove, and since you have tactical, it and already a dodge, it replaces most of the independent, so it's really great. You just charge in double speed 3 with tactical is always great, and you have potentially Dark 7 knife combo, so really interesting. And then he can make double attack. It's a command card, gives him a name, and when he attacks, after he's over attacking, he can make another attack, and it's not an action, which means he could, like, for example, aim or move into melee and then attack once and a second time, but it must be against a different unit. Be careful about that. But it's great if you, like, I think you can run into melee with 2 different units. Oh, maybe not, I'm not sure. But if you run melee with 2 different units, then you can clean them easily, and you can always attack, and since you are versatile on your blaster, shoot on another unit with lethals or pierce. Really interesting. And finally, Whistling Birds. So he gains an action. It's going to be one action, just it's like an action. It counts as one of his 2 actions. He can choose up to 3 enemy units within range 1 and line of sight, and he will roll away white attack die for each miniatures and units. And this unit will take a 1 for each surge, crit, and hit result. Great. I think unfortunately it's a 3-piece that only gives 1 order, so that's a little bit annoying. But if you don't have if you don't like the 3-piece you can get, it's really interesting. If you have like a bunch of like 2 core units nearby, you're going to do plenty of the mages. Although this one's probably Dinjarin's worst command card, because usually when you take a 3-piece, you want a bunch of orders and a bunch of tokens, and it's not doing that. And I think I like those odds, and all this is the way it would be way better, and just keep your 3-piece for other units. So this is done for those guys, but they still have upgrade versions themselves. Starting with Dinjarin, so he's a leader, so it's an extra health, really nice. He can easily replace a heavy weapon, because he rolls a red and black at range 2 with lethal 1, great. Can get you to PS1, but since warriors have dualistic, can get you to PS2, because you're going to trigger the dualist, so great. A red and black is always good, it's a little stronger than another unit, and it's both for range and for melee, and the lethal can be getting you PS1 into range and PS2 into melee, so really interesting. Yeah, honestly interesting, and you gain a surge when your target of this is already killed, which is once again very interesting because it buffs your defense, and this is 30 points and very valuable. This is why I shouldn't put it on insight. But yeah, very interesting. Moving on, Paz Vizsla. 2 health, 40 points unfortunately, but 2 health. And he might even be better than Paz Vizsla himself. I think you put him on the unit of warriors because he gives this away aim 1, so you get this away aim 1 dodge 1, or on a unit of fire support because thanks to be sure on the watch upgrade that if you don't know what it is, it gives this away dodge 1 to warriors and this away aim 1 to fire support warriors. So the great thing about that is that you can combo it with like a unit of fire support warriors. They will have 6 health in total without any heavy upgrade. They will have this is the way aim 2, so great bonuses, and he keeps the very same weapon, so great attack as well, and lessens cover, and I think it's just better than Paz Vizsla. It's cheaper if you put it on a unit of sorry. It's cheaper if you put it on a unit of warriors than Paz Vizsla himself, and it's really interesting and can do a lot of things. So it might not be as hard to kill as Paz Vizsla, but it could be really more interesting in terms of damaging. And finally, the armor. So the armor. You increase your courage value by 1, and this is probably the only reason you could put it on a unit of initiates, but it's still not good. Why? Because getting courage 3 on units is always still good, and reliable 2, and that is so great, because it means you get 2 surges per turn, and that is a lot, because it's basically, for most of the attacks you will take, unless you're unlucky, it's going to be an average giving you red saves surging to block instead of just red saves, so great. And then 2 red and 2 black ices, almost a melee weapon, with Pierce 1 into melee, with the good melee attack on the warriors, and if you use at least 1 aim to reroll, you get to Pierce 2, and you're like turning your unit into a goddamn Jedi. I think it can be really fun to play as well. So we're done for today. If you like this video, you can like this video if you enjoyed it. If you found it interesting, don't forget to subscribe as well. There will be other videos on this channel. And goodbye everyone.